Begum. The president of the 77th session of the UN General Assembly is visiting China. Sheba Qureshi's trip comes at the invitation of Chinese Foreign Minister Qin Gang. The two sides have concluded a meeting in Beijing. Lisa Ray has more.
Our talk this time is focusing on sustainable development and water management. And this is actually the first time that Qin Gang meets with the president of UN General Assembly as Chinese foreign minister. Qureshi's trip to China comes at a very important time because as the world slowly recovers from the pandemic, many of the industries and projects that has been suspended, has been dropped, are expected to normalize. So it's also a right time for the international community to focus again on working together to build a better planet. And China has always been supporting the cause of UN and also an important role of UN General Assembly. And in many occasions, China has been addressing that its modernization aims to achieve the harmony between mankind and nature, and it will stay committed to a low-carbon, green, and sustainable path.
Shenzhen's once again emerged as China's leading exporter. The city's exports jumped 14% to 2.2 trillion yuan, or over $320 billion in 2022. It's ranked first in China for 30 years. The volume contributed 43% of the total exports of the 9 mainland cities in the Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau, Greater Bay Area last year. Police in Pakistan have detained several people in connection to a blast that killed at least 100 people at a mosque inside of police headquarters. A senior official says authorities are also probing the possibility that people inside the compound helped coordinate Monday's attack. Iran's blamed Israel for a drone attack on a military factory near the city of Isfahan last week. In a letter to UN Chief Antonio Guterres, Iran's UN envoy said primary investigation suggested that Israel's responsible. He also said Iran reserves the right to give a firm response whenever necessary, and Israel's action has gone against international law. German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius says the country needs to order new Leopard tanks quickly to replace those going to Ukraine. The newly appointed defense ministers described the urgent funding as essential. He made the remarks while visiting the tank battalion, which is set to send 14 Leopard 2 tanks to Ukraine. The European Commission president presented a proposal to try to ensure Europe can compete with the United States as a manufacturing hub for net zero industries. Ursula von der Leyen says the EU is competitive with its own advantages.
We have since long argued that the fight against climate change is a must for our planet, a must for our economic prosperity, and a must for our strategic independence. We are competitive. We need competition. What we are looking at is that we have a level playing field in the global competition as well as a level playing field within the single market. This is for us so important.
Von der Leyen says in the short term, EU members could draw on about 250 billion euros, or roughly $276 billion from its Repower EU fund to stimulate companies to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. The Federal Reserve has raised its key interest rate by a quarter point in its 8th hike since March. The U.S. Central Bank also signaled further rate hikes. Nathan King reports.
The federal funds key benchmark rate is at 4.5 to 4.75% range. Rates are now the highest they've been since back in November, I think, 2007. Jerome Powell, the chairman, says, see inflation coming down. They may have to raise rates, or it looks like they're going to raise rates throughout at least the mid part of this year as well. 2%, of course, is the benchmark rate that the Federal Reserve would like inflation to get to. Even though we've got a fantastic job market here, 11 million job openings, there's only about 6 million or so officially unemployed. That creates wage pressures up, which can feed inflation.
China Media Group's released a promotional video for its upcoming 2023 Lantern Festival Gala. The Lantern Festival Gala is one of China's most watched TV programs. The Lantern Festival celebrated on the 15th day of the first month on the Chinese lunar calendar. The event has a history of over 2,000 years. It marks the end of the Spring Festival celebrations. And that's the news. I'm Shane Bigham.